The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hi guys, can you hear me properly? So, hi, can you hear me properly? So all of you can actually use your question box to give me answers. All right. All right, thank you for the feedback, guys. So we have 9 participants with us today. Thank you for the feedback, guys. All right, so we have 9 participants today. Let's start with giving introduction about each other. So I like to get your, I obviously can read your name. So we have Deepak, we have Hamza, we have Imal, we have Meghna, we have Mohammed, Shraddha, Syed, and Udaya Shankar. So welcome all of you. Let's start a small introduction. So I need each person, I need your name, obviously, and I need your background and the city from which you are connected. So we'll start with one after the other. So the challenge of, so the idea of doing this is just to get you familiarized with the web tools that we are going to work on. So obviously, I think by this time all of you must have figured this, that only the presenter, that is I, will have control over respective mics. So usually the way we do it is the presenter talks, and if anyone has any questions, we usually use the question box. That is, you can use your question box to type in the question, and as a presenter I'll read out the question and then I follow with the answer, right? So just to get yourself familiarized with this tool, I respect each one of you, so I'll call off your individual names. Please make sure that you can type in your city of residence and your background, so that it will be useful for me in 2 ways. One is I'll understand that you are able to use the web tools, and second thing is your background will help me to structure my today's demo class in a slightly better way. All right. So let's start with it. So Deepak Kanodia, can you please give me some background about which city you are from and what's your background? That is, when I talk about background, I am interested in knowing your educational background. All right, Deepak says he's from Kanpur. So welcome, Deepak. And Deepak has done MBA in International Business. Perfect. All right. And Deepak has also done CFA from India. Perfect. So that's a good background to start with. Thank you. All right, we move on. We have Fatima, who has joined us. All right. Deepak adds saying that he has 6 years of experience in stock market. That's great, Deepak. So I'm sure you will enjoy learning CFA with us. All right. Okay, we have Fatima. So Fatima can hear me properly. Fatima, we are doing a quick introduction about ourselves. So I want you to type in your city of residence and also your educational background. As I said, the whole idea is to get you familiarized with the medium of communication. So this is what we're going to do going forward. So please make sure that you understand which box to use when, how do you type in question, and how does the faculty reads the question and answers it. So that's the primary idea. Fatima? Are you with us? All right. So can you please type in your city of residence and educational background? Just to speed up the whole process, because typing takes more time than speaking out, obviously. And also request Hamza to follow suit, so that we'll not waste time. All right. So I'll just read out the order. Probably you can start typing or preparing your statements. After Fatima, we'll have an introduction about Hamza, and then we'll have an introduction about Imal and Meghna. So up to Meghna, please make sure that you're ready and you can type in your answers on the question box. All right. So we have details of Fatima. Fatima has joined us from Mumbai, and she has done CIMA. All right, Fatima, welcome. We'll move on to Hamza. Hamza, Imal, Meghna, Mohammed, Shraddha, and Said. All right. So we have Mohammed. Mohammed says he has joined us from Cairo, MBA from Financial Management, and 5 years experience as a financial analyst. Perfect. Mohammed, welcome. Shraddha is joining us from Gurgaon, and her education background is BTech in IT. All right, Shraddha, welcome. Meghna is from Surat, and she has done MBA in finance. She has 6 years of experience in financial services. Welcome, Meghna. So how about others? Syed, Uday Shankar, Imal, Hamza, and we also have Vijay Bana, who has joined. All right, so I have details of Uday Shankar. Uday Shankar is from Canada. So I project manager, PMP and MCOM. Perfect, Uday Shankar. Welcome. Syed Zahid is from Bahrain. He's a chartered accountant and 10 years of auditing experience. Perfect, Syed. Welcome. So Vijaya and Hamza and Imal, if you could also quickly do introduction, we'll get on the rest of the steps. Right. Okay, there is some problem on my screen which I'm trying to fix. All right, so I think while waiting for others. So Vijay, since you joined us a little late, what we're trying to do is we're trying to do a quick introduction about ourselves. So we'll be using your question box tool to type in your details. Basically, we are trying to get your city of residence and your education background. Right. The whole idea is to just get you familiarized with the communication tool that we'll be using going forward. All right. Hamza and Imal, when you are ready, please type it in. Otherwise, we'll carry on. So Vijay is from South Africa, has done CA and currently studying CFA. Welcome, Vijay. So that leaves us Hamza, Imal. Probably they are doing something else. So once you're ready, well, okay, Imal is ready. So Imal, can we have your details, please? City of residence and educational background. All right. Imal, let me know when you're ready. All right. So I'll give a quick introduction about myself as well. So I'm a faculty for today. My name is Karthik. I am from Hyderabad, India. I have done my BTech and then I went on to do my CFA and FRM. So I'm both a CFA chartered analyst as well as, that is, I'm a CFA charter holder as well as an FRM holder. And I have around 9 years of experience in the financial market. So I usually work in a hedge fund industry. I take care of valuation, business analysis, portfolio accounting, and of course development part. So this is my profile. I will teach you with Pristine for now. So it's with like-minded individuals like you. All right. So welcome. I have details of email as well. So email is right now doing BSc in business administration from Sri Lanka, and he's also a ICIMA past finalist. So welcome, Vimal. So welcome all of you for this demo. So in today's demo, we'll actually have two parts. First part is obviously your, in fact, the whole demo is meant for you. So I would appreciate as many questions as possible. In the first part, we'll quickly go through the structure of CFA exam and any questions that you might have. For example, what does CFA exam entail? What is the structure of the CFA exam? What are the topics that we're going to study? Why should I do CFA exam? What is the advantage of doing CFA exam in terms of industry exposure, etc., etc. So that is what we'll try to do quickly. I believe already you've got a lot of information because that's why you have come to attending CFA classes. And then a second part of today's demo will involve doing a quick look at one of the concepts today. The idea of doing that demo is just to get you familiarized with how the teaching methodology will be for the rest of the classes and how you can make the best use of it. That is, for example, we already used the question box to ask question. We'll look at those areas, how to get the maximum out of these classes. All right, guys. So I'll move on. As I said, this is your session, so I would appreciate as many questions as possible. And let's try to make it a very interactive one. All right. So I'll skip the part of Pristine because I think all of you already understand a lot about Pristine. If not, you can get details on the market, on the internet. So I have a question from Shraddha. I have a least grip on financial markets. So will CFA program help me? Definitely, because CFA helps you in two ways. One is CFA gives you a lot of theory about what financial products are, what are the various operations of your financial markets, etc., etc., and details about how do you value a security, how do you structure a security in a portfolio. So all this information is given in, you learn in the course of CFA program. So CFA definitely gives you details about how to analyze a financial market. It doesn't equip you with the details, the detailed theory behind financial markets and financial products. That definitely would help you in your analysis of financial market going forward, right? See, most of the time we don't follow financial market because we're really afraid of the terms, we're really afraid of the theory behind financial market. So the moment you get familiarized with theory, you know what is meant by yield on a bond, you know what is meant by returns being a normal distribution, then it's very easy to follow latest information on financial market. So that way the CFA definitely helps you in that regard. All right, Shraddha, I hope that answers your question. So Deepak has a slightly different question. I hope you are okay with me reading this question out, Deepak? Or all right. So Deepak has a question that he's 32 and married. So his question is, do people do CFA at this age? Good question, because most of us have these questions when we are doing it. So let me try to tell you one part, right? And this is what I have tried to tell to almost all students that I have spoken to. CFA doesn't require any age, or CFA, for that matter, any educational background, any education degree is not out of your mind. For you to do CFA, doesn't matter what your age is, doesn't matter what your educational background is. All that it matters is you just need to have inclination to study finance, and you have enough time that you can devote to study CFA, right? Now, to answer your question specifically, Deepak, many people, especially abroad, especially in US and even Europe, many of the CFA finalists who pass out are in the age of 35 to 40. So you are definitely not an exception, right? In fact, I also finished CFA close to the age of 30. 28 is when I finished CFA. So that is definitely not an impediment at all, right? And I tell you, if you have a good background in finance, which usually comes with experience, people find CFA much easier to grasp. The concepts much easier to grasp. So if at all anything, your age will only come to your side, not work against it, right? So please guys, two things. One is don't bother what your background is, because the idea, and CFA is a very structured program because there is a lot of emphasis given in what content goes to CFA level 1, level 2, level 3. I hope all of you understand now that there are 3 levels of CFA program. And level 1 is meant for somebody who has absolutely zero background on finance. Okay, so the way the program is structured is that anybody can do CFA program. You need not be an expert in finance to get into this. So your education background doesn't make a difference. And second thing is your age doesn't play a role in CFA. Okay. I have, in fact, many of my students are in the age group of 35 to 40, and they do really well in CFA programs. Okay, of course, they have with age comes your experience in the financial market. Most of them have been in financial market, so it's very easy for them when I say, hey, you know what? When we study about a limit trade, for example, they already know because they've already done that because of their experience, right? So please make sure that you're not getting affected by any of these factors, right? I hope that answers your question, Deepak. All right. Any other question, guys? Else, I'll move on to the presentation content once again. My computer is acting a little weird today. That's why I think you can see, it's taking a lot of time for me to switch only one slide to another slide. Today being an exception, I don't know. But anyways. So I'll continue on the slide. We'll just try to, get into the details of CFA program. So these are pristine offerings. As I said, I won't spend too much of time because you will get most of the content on the internet. Even otherwise, I think you can reach out to any of our sales representative and they'll give you a lot of information about what Pristine has to offer. I'll talk about Pristine offering in particular to CFA because that is what we're going to cover. Apart from that, what else Pristine does is given, what Pristine offers is already given in this slide. So I'll move on. Pristine is a registered training program partner with CFA as well as GAP. And it has done a lot of corporate training as well. Let's get into this part, that is what it takes for you to do a CFA exam. So in terms of eligibility, the eligibility criteria is defined for 3 levels, level 1, level 2, level 3. For level 1, you can even if you're not an undergraduate. In fact, as per CFA Institute's website, if you are in the final year of undergraduate program, you can still appear for CFA level 1 exam. Okay. For level 2 exam, obviously you need to have cleared level 1 and you should have your undergraduate degree. So your restriction on undergraduation comes only from level 2 onwards. All right. For level 3, obviously you should have cleared level 1 and level 2, and you can appear for level 3. And once you clear level 3, so this is the key part. Once you finish 3 levels of exam, that doesn't still give you a charter holder, a charter membership. Apart from clearing 3 levels of CFA, you should have experience of 48 months, which is 4 years, in related investment discipline. Okay, so that's the key that they use. That is related investment professional practice. Once you have experience of 4 years, that is 48 months in related investment professional experience level, then you will be qualified to receive a CFA charter. Only once you receive CFA charter, you can use CFA besides your name. So the key point here is 3 levels of exam doesn't still guarantee you the usage of CFA besides your name. You need to earn CFA charter holder membership. All right. In terms of the exam pattern, level 1. All right, so I have a question from Devashish. What do you mean by related experience? It's a slightly objective topic, Devashish, but the usual yardstick is that you should have either directly or indirectly worked in investment decision making. Okay, that is at a very high level. Your work should have been either directly involved in trading, or you should have helped your front office desk in decision regarding trading. For example, if you build your, let's say your job, you'll see you're in an IT division, and your job involves building softwares that help traders to make a trade. That is more direct involvement. That is, you're directly involved in investment decision making. Similarly, let's say you are doing equity research, and based on the equity research divisions, trading happens. That is also direct investment decision making process. Indirect actions are, for example, risk management. Every trading has to have a risk management wing. So if you're taking care of risk management division, you're not directly helping traders take an investment decision, but you're still helping them out indirectly. All right. So there is a series of job profile that can qualify as direct investment decision making or indirect decision making. So as I said, this is a very vague topic because it really depends on how you present your job profile to. Okay. And once you can present your job profile, as long as the committee is convinced that it either directly or indirectly assists in investment decision making, you will be eligible for charter membership. So Vijay has a question. I like this mode of communication. How often will we meet? Vijay, I'm not sure whether I'll be taking all classes of CFA webinar as such, but I try to make my classes as interactive as possible. So unfortunately, I really don't have a direct answer for you because I really don't know how many classes I'll come. But what I can assure is all faculties in Pristine are similar, have a similar teaching methodology. So I'm sure that you'll enjoy having classes with any one of us. All right. Hamza has a question. Do internship count in this? I assume, Hamza, you're asking about internship in job profile. The answer is no, because your job should be full-time. So you should have a full-time experience, not even a part-time experience. You need to have a full-time experience to qualify under the 48 months of work experience. All right, so internship doesn't count. Syed has a question. How about if someone is in training profession like CA, CPA, ACA? As I said, Syed, it's a slightly vague topic because, in fact, I remember that CFA also have a provision for teaching in financial sector. So if you engage in teaching in financial sector, such as I said, taking classes for CA, CPA, ACA, or even CFA, then even that is considered in your experience. But there I think the experience criteria slightly elongates. So instead of 48 months, I think it becomes 60 months. That is, you will have 5 years of experience. You need to have 5 years of experience of teaching in financial sector. So the good part is teaching is considered, but the bad part is it is not considered equal to the rest of your job profiles. Shraddha has a question. An IT professor having 4 years of experience in software development and cleared 3 levels of CFA is eligible to hold the charter holder tag. Sorry, IT professional. Shraddha, it really depends on what your job profile was, right? So if you 4 years of experience in software development, it really depends on what your job profile was. If you're doing only pure development, probably it's very difficult to negotiate. But let's say your job involves development along with business analysis, and more importantly, you're building software that either assist in job investment decision making. For example, as I said, let's say you are doing preparing a software which helps in trading directly, or let's say you're preparing a software which helps in getting feeds from various sources. These kind of things can be considered for saying that they have helped indirectly in investment decision making. So it's a little tricky one because there is no strict guidelines given to it. It's a very vague topic saying that your job profile should either directly or indirectly assist in investment decision making. So guys, what I suggest is, I think we can always find various use cases and debate whether it is possible or not possible. My suggestion will be, see, that is only after you finish 3 levels of CFA. So first thing, why don't we first focus on writing the CFA exam. I am also part of IAIP, which is in Indian Association of Investment Professionals. Since all of our, anybody who is a CFA charter need to be associated with a CFA local body. I am associated with IAIP, which is Indian-based investment CFA program or CFA local body. So what I can promise is once you guys finish 3 levels of CFA and once you're applying for your charter holder membership, you can definitely get my assistance. I'll help you in how to structure or how to word your job profile, and we'll try to get it from there. So the point that I'm saying is, given that there is no direct, there is no direct, or there is no proper guideline given, it can become very subjective. So there is more important how do we structure or how do we word our job profile. All right. So that is the last part, because honestly the biggest point in getting CFA is finishing 3 levels of CFA exam. After that, I promise you that I'll help you in any of your queries regarding CFA charter membership. All right, guys. All right. Syed asked, can we have your email? I'll leave my email at the end of the class. I'll do that. Not a problem. Email says, I'm working as an executive corporate treasury. As I said, email, it really depends on how you word your job profile, right? So we'll definitely work through it later on. You guys are still some time away from it because you have to first finish level 1, level 2, and level 3. And as you figure out, at least it takes 2.5 to 3 years to finish 3 levels of CFA. After that, believe me, writing your job profile for CFA charter membership application is the easiest of all of this, right? So there I can definitely help you out. You don't even have to bother about it. For now, let's focus on what it takes to finish the 3 levels of the exam. That is the first step. All right. Email has one more question. If someone is in the final year of BSc degree, then will he get an entry into qualification for CFA? Yes, because BSc can be considered as your undergraduate program. Therefore, if you are in the final year of undergraduate program, you can still write CFA level 1 exam. But for writing CFA level 2 exam, obviously you should have cleared level 1 exam, plus you should have got your graduation. That is, you should have finished your graduation. All right, Imal, I hope that answers your question. Debashish has a question, where will I get a soft copy of CFA material and soft copy of Square material from before registering in CFA? Well, I'm not supposed to say this, but you can get, unethically you can get your material by downloading in, searching in internet and downloading it, right? Whereas ethically, I would say the right way of getting your material is once you register for CFA program. So once you register for CFA program, your CFA institute gives you option of getting material either in terms of e-books or in terms of printed book, and you can choose whichever is suitable for you, right? Unethically, if you want to study CFA material, then you can always search in various torrent sites, get something, you'll always get your details out. Debashish says, I'm not getting it, can you suggest a link? Debashish, as I said, I'm not supposed to do this ethically, right? Ethically, for you to get CFA material, you should register for CFA program. Once you pay your fee for CFA program, they will ask you, that is CFA Institute will ask you whether you want the material in ebook format or do you want it in printed format. So there you can get it, right? When I say ethically, because ideally for using any material you should pay money, right? You should pay your fees. If I understand correctly, what you're asking is, how can I get these data before registering? So Debashish says, I want to prepare fully before registering. I would say then the only choice is you either get previous year's material or you can work with Pristine material. So Pristine also gives you a study material and probably you can work with that till the exam. But ethically, that is, when I say ethically, ethically means this is the way you're supposed to do it. Okay, morally. You only have access to CFA material once you register for the exam. You can't get CFA material without registering for the exam. Okay, Debashish? If you want to bypass that, then obviously you can search in various internet sites and get the data. Morally, you can only get it once you register for the exam. That is, once you pay the fee, exam fee. All right. Gaurav asked the question, I'm self-employed. I also invest in trade and equity commodity. I had completed graduation in 2004 in BE. Gaurav, I assume you're asking eligibility regarding CFA exam. Since you have finished BE in 2004, you will be definitely eligible for writing CFA exam, right? Once you finish 3 levels of CFA, we can worry about, does your job profile entail you to get your CFA charter or not? All right. So from the exam perspective, you definitely are eligible. Okay, Vijay has a question. What is EduPristine role in this? Vijay, I'm not very clear what you mean by this. Can you explain what your EduPristine role about? Are you talking about preparation? Are you talking about so EduPristine? So you are here because of EduPristine. So EduPristine arranges for your web classes. Also gives you material to prepare. So can you be a little bit more explicit in what you're trying to ask? All right, Hamza has a question. What is the worth of a person who has done all 3 levels but is not a charter holder? Yes, that's a good question, Hamza. But what I can tell you is that, see, in industry, you get people rate CFA charter holders so highly because of the effort that they put in passing 3 levels of exam. Okay, obviously, apart from the fact that you are among a distinguished member, everybody acknowledges the fact that CFA program or exam is not easy to finish, because majority of us, and that is the beauty of CFA, because you can do CFA while you are even working, right? Unlike your MBA or etc., for you to do an MBA, a good MBA, you would most likely enroll into a full-time MBA. Whereas for you to get a CFA charter, you can even do it while you're working. And I did CFA as well as FRM while I was working. All right? And that is a real advantage, because most of the CFA charter holders are those who have put in sincere effort apart from slogging it out during your office times, you also put in effort beyond that to finish a tough program like CFA. So to answer your question, Hamza, the worth of CFA, definitely there is the advantage of being a charter holder, but even otherwise, if you finish 3 levels of CFA, it shows your determination and it puts you in a elite league. Of course, for you to leverage charter holder benefits, which are networking with similar-minded people, getting access to various seminars and meetings that happen as part of CFA society, that you'll miss it. But even otherwise, finishing 3 levels is a good thing. In fact, majority of people that I know, they finish CFA level 1, 2, and 3, and they'll obviously get jobs because of these because of finishing these exams, and then they earn experience while they are working. So the point that I'm saying is many of them finished all 3 levels, then they get into a related job, let's say iBanking or credit analysis job profile, earn 4 years of experience while in that job, and then apply for CFA charter holder membership. So that is also quite possible. As I said, the difficult part of CFA is finishing exam. Getting your charter is very easy because all that you need to do is just get 4 years of experience. And most likely because of your exam, there are many offers for you waiting anyways. So that's a very easy part to do it. So Deepak has a question. I'm working and get free time only by 4 p.m. How much time I have to devote and how many months will it take me to prepare for CFA level 1? Deepak, I'll answer that question. Give me a moment. I'll definitely get to that. Uday Shankar has a question. Which among them is difficult, CFA or FRM? Uday Shankar, I would say probably both of them are difficult, right? So I won't say that CFA is easier than FRM or FRM is easier than CFA. Both are difficult exams. Both are professional exams. So both require enough practice or enough discipline for you to pass the exam. All right. Okay, let's quickly go through it. So CFA exam is level 1 is composed of multiple choice question. There are totally 120 questions in the morning and 120 questions in the afternoon. So each paper is or each exam is composed of 2 papers, a morning paper and an afternoon paper. Morning paper is 3 hours long, afternoon paper is 3 hours long, and therefore total exam lasts for 6 hours. Typical timing is 9 a.m. to 12 a.m. will be a morning paper, and then there will be 2 hour break. 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. will be your afternoon session. In level 1, that is morning and afternoon, both are multiple choice question. You will have 120 questions in morning, 120 questions in afternoon. Level 2 is also similar, that is it's a multiple choice question. Again, you have morning and afternoon paper. Level 3 is also similar, that is it's a morning and afternoon paper, but there is a slight difference, that is morning paper will be written, that is it will be a subjective paper. You have to write your answer, unlike level 1 and level 2 where they were multiple choice questions. And interestingly, your afternoon paper of level 3 is also a multiple choice question. So only for level 3 you have written plus multiple choice questions. Alright. CFA exam being an American exam, there is no concept of absolute marking. You only get an indicator. So there are only 2 results possible, either you pass or you fail. Now to give you more details about how you fared on the exam, there will be an indicator of performance for individual topic. For each of the topic, you will be given a range, whether you fell in less than 50 range, 50 to 70% range, or above 70% range. But there is no, unlike in Indian exam, there is no pass by merit, there is no pass by distinction, there is no gold medal, nothing in CFA. Only 2 results possible are either passed or failed. All right. Okay. What are the advantages of CFA? I think most of you would know now that there's a lot of advantage of doing CFA because of the fact that CFA program as such is globally recognized, right? All over the world, there are very few CFA charter holders, only 90,000 in all over the world, so that's not very large. Your career advantage is significant, that is you get access to good profile, good job profile, and if you do CFA charter, you get CFA chartered, you become part of a very good community of like-minded people, and it takes you to a really allied group where you have access to a lot of financial information on the fly. All right. So from an exam perspective, this is what you need to know. That is, these are the topics that will be tested from an exam perspective. Let's focus on level 1 because that is your immediate focus. So you have your ethics, Quant's method, economics, financial reporting and analysis, which is all about how to look at financial statements of a company, corporate finance. Together, that is Quant's plus corporate finance are called investment tools, and therefore they are together around 50%. All right. So investment tool is composed of Quant's, economics, financial statement analysis, and corporate finance. Equity, fixed income, derivatives, and alternative investment is called asset classes. Together they are 30%. All right. So 30% of asset classes, 50% of investment tools, 15% of ethics and professional standard, and 5% of portfolio management gives you a total of 100%. All right. Now, I think Deepak asked this question: how much of hours of study should I put in, and how many months? I think here is a guideline given. Usually, based on what I have also seen, if anybody could put in 250 to 350 hours of studies for CFA level 1, you're usually in a good stead on the exam. Okay, believe me, the topics are not very difficult. They require practice, nevertheless. So you need to put in some disciplined study. So what I'll suggest is, let's say all of you are writing exam in December. Now is only July. You have around 4 to 5 months for preparation. What I suggest is, at least try to study 1 hour every day, 1 to 2 hours every day. Okay. If you can devote 1 to 2 hours every day, let's say you can devote 2 hours every day, and you do that consistently for the remaining months, 5 months, believe me, you should be very good on the exam. All right. So it's not very difficult, and especially people who are working, you just need to figure out how you can manage 2 hours. And I think all of us know that you can always optimize your time management. I think all of us don't utilize time very well. So if you do kind of an inspection, I'm sure that you can definitely figure out 2 hours in your day that you can save for studying CFA. So key for passing CFA, in my opinion, is putting in 2 hours every day and putting it on a daily basis. If you study for 2 hours one day and then you are only opening your book after 1 month or 1 week, it's going to be very difficult because you need to maintain the continuity. So as long as you are disciplined in your studies and as long as you can devote 2 hours every day, I tell you, you should be easily passing CFA level 1 exam. All right. Now, in terms of topics, I would say there are 4 topics which are very crucial for you to do well on the exam. One is ethics. Obviously, the weightage for that is 15%. FRA, financial reporting and analysis, the weightage for that is 20%. Then you have your fixed income, 12%, and you have your quants, which is 12%, right? So if you look at it together, these 4 topics constitute how much? 27, 47, 59%, right? So 59% comes from these 4 topics. So in terms of focus, I'll say that if you focus really well on FRA, which is the highest weightage, ethics, quants, and fixed income. Fixed income more because it's slightly difficult to understand the concepts, because those who have no exposure to finance may find fixed income concepts a little difficult to grasp. So if you focus on these 4 areas in particular, I'm not saying that you should ignore the remaining concepts. You should definitely understand each and every concept, because unless you understand each and every topic, it will be very difficult for you to sustain in level 2, because level 2 will involve everything in one go, right? But from an exam perspective, a good strategy would be focusing on these 4 topics much more than other topics. Please don't leave any other topic, but make sure that you focus on these 4 topics more than the remaining topics. Any question, guys? Hopefully it answers question about how much preparation should I put and what are the areas that I need to focus on. Are we good, guys? Any questions? All right. So I assume all of you are following. Let me know. As I said, this is your demo, so please ask me any questions that you have. I'll be more than happy answering questions than reading something on the slide. All right. In terms of exam dates, there's a slight change. I think as per a recent release, the exam will now happen first Saturday of June and December. All right. So since we're talking about December exam, the exam will happen first Saturday of December 2012. In terms of exam centers, I know most of you are outside of India, so please check the website to see which is the nearest exam center for you. I know there is exam center in South Africa as well as Sri Lanka and other countries as well. Canada is there. In India, I think they've opened 3 centers. I think it's Delhi, Mumbai and Bangalore. I don't think Chennai and Kolkata are listed this time. Things could change. So please check your CFA Institute website to figure out from where, which is the nearest exam center that you can write. All right. The other thing is, for you to appear for the exam, you need to have an ID proof, which is the only ID proof accepted is passport. So please make sure that you have a valid passport. When I say valid, the passport should have expiry sometime in future. All right. So if you go with the expired passport, obviously that will not be considered. In terms of payment, this is what you need to know. That is, so this deadline is already gone for you, those who have not registered as of now. So the next approaching deadline would be 22nd August. Before that, that is before, if you manage to pay your fee before 22nd August, you will be paying so much of amount, right? If you miss that, then the last chance would be close to another month. You'll be obviously paying a higher fee amount. All right, so I have one question from Deepak. Earlier exams were not conducted in India. Will exams be conducted in India in future too after December? It's possible. So I think there is some history to it. So there is some court case between CFA Institute and AICTE. That is All India Council of Technical Education. And there is also a court case between CFA Institute and ICFI, that is Indian CFA Institute body. So this court case is settled. That is CFA and AICTE court case is settled, after which they got permission to launch exams in India. All right. So depending on how the other court case may happen, that is CFA Institute and ICFAI, it may go either in the favor or against the favor. So long story short, the reason why CFA couldn't conduct exams in the past were because of a legal issue. One half of the legal issue is now settled, because of which they can open exam centers in India. But the other half is still pending, and depending on the results, it may continue to do it or it may not continue to do it. All right. So Mohammed has a question: is it a stable fee or does it change according to each country? No, because the fee is stable in dollar amount. Now, obviously, if you convert that to your local currency, it may change. So in India, obviously, your rupee is falling compared to your dollar. So if you pay the fee by 22nd August and rupee is like, let's say 59 rupee per dollar, then obviously you'll end up paying more. So in terms of dollar amount, the fee is a constant fee. But in terms of your local amount, it may change depending on your FX. All right. All right, I'll move on. In terms of your reading material, as I said, CFA Institute will only give you material after you register the exam. There are two choices given. There is an e-material, that is you can study it online, or there is a printed material. Obviously, printed material will be a little costly. I think the difference is around $20 to $40 more than your e-material. Okay. As I said, preparation time, usually a good yardstick is if you can put in 350 hours, 250 to 350 hours of study, you should be good on the exam. Importantly, I would say that you should be consistent with respect to preparation. That is, it's important to put 250 hours of preparation. More important, it is necessary that you put 2 hours every day. Try to study 2 hours every day. That's all. In terms of calculator, 2 calculators are recommended, HP12C or Texas BA2 Plus. A slightly better version of Texas BA2 Plus is Texas BA2 Plus Professional. If any of you have not purchased the calculator, I recommend that you use Texas BA2 Plus Professional. It's a good calculator to have, because even for other competitive exams like FRM and I think CAIA, they endorse this calculator. I think this slide is self-explanatory, so I'm not going to read this. I would appreciate any questions. Any questions? All right, I have a lot of questions coming in, which is what I like. Just a minute, guys. Okay. So Deepak says, what is an average salary after 3 levels? Okay, let me try to answer this, Deepak. Okay. First and foremost, I'll give you a value of average salary, but that has no meaning. Okay. And this is the first thing that you study in CFA. That is, average is a poor indicator of your total data. Okay. I'll give you an example. Okay. I don't know how many of you are aware of it, but if anybody has followed placements in IIMA or even IIT, let's say IIT Delhi, what you will find is, first and foremost, not all students get placed in IIMA. Okay, there are many students who don't even get placement. Okay, but then we always see brochures saying that the average salary of a student out of IIMA is 30 lakhs. How do you get at it? This is how you get at it, right? Let's say, let me take 3 people, okay? 1, 2, and 3. 1 didn't get placement at all, therefore the salary is $0. Second got a 60 lakh offer. The third one got a 10 lakh offer. What is the average of these 3 values now? 0 plus 60 plus 10 by 3. 70 by 3, which will be close to what? 23.33. Right? So this is what I meant. What I meant by saying is, your average salary doesn't have any meaning. I can tell you that you will get an average salary of 20 lakh, 23 lakh. Does it mean that you will get 60 lakh? Does it mean that you get no job? Does it mean that you get 10 lakhs? Very difficult to answer, right? Why am I saying all this is, the power of CFA is that CFA helps you to get an edge over others when it comes to job requirement. So if I am a recruiter trying to recruit you, I have 2 resumes of one person who probably is an ordinary person, one person who has done CFA. I'll obviously give preference to CFA, the resume that has CFA on it, right? Your possibility of getting a job, your possibility of getting a good salary really depends on A, how do you do on your interview? B, what the job situation is, that is what the job market is. See what the economic situation is, right? So in a recession, a person who was earning 20 lakh may only be earning 10 lakh. You never know, correct? So the moral of the story is, they usually say that your average salary finishing CFA is around 20 lakh to 30 lakh in India, but I would say that use your discretion when you're trying to interpret it, right? I have seen CFA graduates earning as much as 60 lakhs or even 80 lakhs in India, okay, and even abroad. I've also seen CFA graduates earning around 10 lakh to 5 lakh in India, right? So it really depends on how smart you are. So the point is, your CFA is only a degree, but what determines your job and what determines your salary in the job is much more than your degree. It depends on your personality, it depends on your background, it depends on how you come across as a, what your smartness is, how do you negotiate things, right? So that's my point. I hope I get my point through. So Meghna has a question. What are the scope of a person having 4 years of experience and who is having 8 years of experience in the same field? I didn't understand, Meghna. What do you mean by 4 years of experience and 8 years of experience in the same field? I couldn't follow what you meant. Please explain. Okay, Muhammad asks academia, that is, Muhammad, I assume you're asking what is your chance of getting into 5-year graduate higher degrees. In terms of CFA, its role is, it has its role in academia. I don't know how many of you are aware, but there is a program called MFE. It's called Masters of Financial Engineering. There are 2 standard universities. One is NYU Stern, right? New York University Stern. And there is University of Haas, which is Berkeley, okay? MFE stands for Masters of Financial Engineering. It's a very good program. It's only a 1-year program, but you will be dealing in full and full quantitative modeling. If you go to the application of MFE, you come across that they give preference for students who have done CFA or FRM, right? So CFA definitely has its role in higher education, because if you have done CFA, you obviously get an edge over others in terms of applying for programs. Not only in MFE, even for MBA in business management, NYU Stern offers you brownie points. I think there is, I don't know whether it's at Harvard University or Stanford. There also, for MBA in finance, they do consider CFA. So CFA has definitely its role in academia. All right. Okay, Manish has a question regarding calculator. How and where can I get these calculator? How much does it cost? Manish, you can get this calculator online. So you can get it in eBay, in eBay. I think it will cost not more than 3,000 rupees, right? Yeah, Deepak says you can also get it in Flipkart. So there are a lot of online purchases that you can make. The advantage of online is that they'll give you some discount. Apart from that, there are many centers. So I can tell you in Hyderabad, even in Mumbai, for example, you have this Himalaya Book Depot, which is very popular book center in India. They also sell you these calculators. So it's very easy to get this calculator because majority of us will be writing CFA. So the demand for this calculator is usually very high. Okay. My recommendation would be to go through online purchase, usually Flipkart or eBay. It gives you a good discount and you may even end up purchasing less than 3,000 rupees. Debashish has a question, can we do something on our own after CFA? Definitely. In fact, now some of my previous students have ventured into entrepreneurship after CFA, right? And the reason, in fact, I had an interesting discussion with them, one of them the other day. I asked him, if you always wanted to do entrepreneurship, then what is the purpose of doing CFA? And his point is, when you start a small business, you are everything. You are CEO, you are CFO, you are everything. And their management of cash flows become very important, because during initial stages of any business, it's not very easy to manage your cash flows, because cash flows will be at a premium. So having a CFA helps me to manage my financial situation of a startup very well. And that's the advantage of doing CFA. So that was the reason why that person enrolled for a CFA program, even though he is a serial entrepreneur. And so definitely, I think CFA would surely help you in managing the financial aspects in a startup. Deepak asks, can you please tell types of roles in a self-employed CFA? See, primarily CFA, so what does CFA help you? CFA helps you in asset management. Okay, and asset management, you can get any role in asset management. For example, you can do consultancy if you want. You can do consultancy. How about managing money? How about managing finances of even small to medium enterprises, SMEs, or even to individual personal personal finance part. Even though there is a specific program meant for called CFP, which is Certified Financial Planner, CFAs also can end up doing personal financial planning. So all these avenues are available for you, and as I said, you can always become an entrepreneur. If you become an entrepreneur, you can always have a lot of choices in terms of, especially the cash management part of it, you can easily handle of your own. So you can become a CFO of your own firm, right? So all those choices are available. All right. All right, guys. So we'll continue. There are still some questions coming in. No, okay. All right. So this tells you what can CFA take you, and this slide tells you what are the typical job profiles that CFA graduates end up being. What are your top employers? As I said, your top employers, if you look at India, you have investment banks like Citigroup, Deutsche Bank. Banks as such, you have credit rating agencies like CRISIL, etc., etc. So these are, a good choices for CFA graduates. Outside of India also you have similar choices, that is you may get into a financial bank, you may get into a securities agencies, you may get into a prime brokerage division, anything, right? Choices are aplenty, but as I said, CFA equips you to get easily into at least the interview part of all these job profiles. How do you perform on the interview is totally up to you. All right. And I can also tell you that being in the industry for close to 9 years now, I know that CFA is valued all across the globe. So any job profile, if your resume says you are a CFA charter holder, you are given some special consideration. So because as I said, it's not, apart from the fact that you are an allied charter holder, the very fact that you have finished CFA 3 levels of CFA exam in itself is some achievement. All right. Can you view this slide, which is who is CFA? I think not. I think it actually got frozen, if I'm not wrong. I think all of you are stuck at slide number 70. Am I correct? Can you see slide number 18? Yeah, I think. All right. I think looks like it's got a little stuck. Okay. As I said, today So give me a moment, guys. I'll quickly join back. All right. Because looks like there is a little bit of problem on the webinar software. All right. So give me a moment. I'll just join in as soon as possible. All right, I am back. So hopefully now you can hear me properly, and you can also see slide number 18. All right. So this is what I mentioned. That is, so this slide basically tells you what all are the job typical recruiters after you finish CFA, and as I was saying, you may get into any of the banks, or you may get into credit rating agencies like CRISIL, etc., right? So all these job choices are possible. Even internationally, you may get into any brokerage decision. You can get into a prime brokerage firm. You can get into a hedge fund. You can get into a mutual fund. Any asset management firm is possible. All right. Shraddha says she can't view the slide. How about others? Can you view slide number 18 now? Right. So others are able to see slide number 18. Shraddha, can you please check from your end? Okay. She says now it's visible. All right. I have a question from Meghna. Does Pristine or another institute provide placement assistance after completing CFA? No. So Pristine doesn't give you placement assistance, but what Pristine can help you is, as I said, majority of us, like people like me, and there are many other CFA charter holders who also are associated with Pristine, either in terms of taking classes or giving other help. So usually whenever we come across any job vacancy in our firm, we pass a word to Pristine, and Pristine has a blog where you can get details of all the available job opportunities, right? So in terms of what I meant was that in terms of guarantee, Pristine doesn't have a established placement division which gives you a guarantee of job placement, but usually through various friend circle, you'll get to know at least the recent job openings that are available. Any other question? Or else we'll look at the Pristine offerings. I think this you already must be aware of, as I think you can talk to Dikshu, who will help you out in all details regarding this pricing and all. So I'm not going to get into too much of detail, but the summary is Pristine has both offline and online training, what we call. I think all of you are registered for online training, so that's what we are talking about. It will be for 100 hours, that is 20 days of online session covering all topics. And then you also have a short CFA course of what we call CFA crash course, and that will be for 6 days, 50 hours. And most of the faculties are CFA certified, and they have a lot of experience in terms of both financial domain as well as taking classes. All right. So this gives you a flavor of, as I said, if you have any question on these things, you can check with Dikshu. She'll be the right person to answer any questions. Right? I assume all of you have access to Dikshu, so you can ask any questions to her regarding the fee, the content, or etc. Right? Any specific question you can direct to Dikshu, because she will know much more than what I do. My job is to teach primarily. Gaurav has a question: can we get income tax rebate for full CFA course fee and its preparation? As per Indian laws, yes, I think you can claim this for your educational expenses. So yes, you can get income tax rebate for CFA course fees. All right. And most of the organization, they encourage higher studies. See, most of the organization, the biggest problem is losing people because of higher studies. So if any firm, majority of the people leave because they want to pursue full-time MBA. So many organizations encourage these programs that have that doesn't require you to quit the job. For example, CFA FRM, right? So the way they encourage that is they give you some kind of a concession. So they may either give you some reimbursement of your fee, either partly or fully. So please check with your organization. I'm sure they may also have these details. So Manish has a question: do we have similar faculties for Pune classes also? Also, please share the scholarship details for FRM. So Manish, as I said, the best person to answer this query for you would be Dikshu. I honestly don't have much of an idea about Pune. As I said, I'm based in Hyderabad. And if you have any question on Hyderabad classes, I can tell you, because I majorly take care of CFA as well as FRM, all 3 levels of CFA, 2 levels of FRM, and I also take care of financial modeling classes. So in case of Hyderabad, I can tell you all details. Honestly, I don't know much about faculties and other details in Pune class. So please check with Dikshu. She'll be in a position to help you. Even your query regarding scholarship details for FRM, Dikshu would be the right person to answer that. All right, any other question, guys? So this gives you some idea about the online questions that you may come across and how you can answer them. Right. So how you can register? I think details is here. You can simply transfer money to this bank account, and you become a part of Pristine family. All right. Any questions? If you are good in terms of CFA exam, the structure of CFA exam and what CFA brings, the answer to the question saying that what does CFA bring to my career, I think we will move on to the next part of the demo, which is we'll try to learn an actual CFA concept using webinar sessions. So the idea is to get yourself familiarized with how the rest of the class will look like, or how the typical class will look like. All right, guys. Shall we move on to that? All right. So the topic that I have chosen is quants, because usually some students find quants difficult to comprehend. So I thought I'll start with a few topics on quants just to give you a flavor of A, CFA as such, and B, just to get you familiarized with the teaching, that is what kind of teaching we'll be following. So so the idea is of this demo is to get you some flavor of CFA, right? CFA concepts, and 2, to get you some idea about teaching philosophy, that is how do we go about teaching using online class. See, the online classes are always difficult because as a faculty I can't see you, you can't see me. And there are a lot of advantages that we lose because of that, because when I take in-person classes, it's very easy for me to look at individual faces, students' faces, and I can get some idea whether you're able to follow what I'm doing or not follow what I'm teaching, right? Unfortunately, we lose that pleasure in web-based classes, and therefore there it becomes very important that you guys be as eloquent as possible using your question box. So any question, please make sure that you put it on the question box. As I've demonstrated so far, I'll make sure that I'll answer each and every question, right? I'll make sure that I read the question first, read it out so that everybody else understands the question, and then I'll answer the question then and there. All right, so it becomes, so the onus in web teaching really gets on you students, because unless you ask the question, I have no idea whether you are following the topic or not. So my request would be, keep your keyboard handy with you. The moment you have any question, put it on the question box, and I'll guarantee you that you'll get an answer to that. All right. So let's get into it. The topic that we're going to see today is, so actually this is for the whole topic, so let's not bother about this. Today the topic that we'll see is measure of central tendency. All right. So let's try to answer this. What do you mean by measure of central tendency? Anyone? Can somebody tell me what is meant by measure of central tendency? Debashis says mean, median, mode. Yes, these are measures for central tendency. You are right, Debashis, right? But my question is, what do you mean by central tendency? Syed also says is mean, median, mode. You guys are right in the answer that these are the three measures of central tendency. Harsh says it's a general figure to describe a group. Perfect, right? Let me ask you a question, okay? And since all of us follow cricket, India is a cricket crazy country. Let me try to draw an analogy to cricket, okay? Let's say India is playing Australia, okay? In cricket, I ask you, which is the youngest team? Is India a younger team compared to Australia, or is Australia a younger team compared to India? How do you go about answering it? See, one way of answering it is, you'll say that there are 11 members in Indian cricket team, Sachin, Sehwag, etc., etc. This is the age of Sachin, 39, Sehwag is 32, whatever, etc., etc. And take corresponding members of Australia. I'll say you have, who's that opener now? Watson, you have Watson. Watson is 31, you have Ponting is 32, right? Do we ever answer in this way? No, right? We don't compare age to age for individual data, correct? Statistically speaking, I'll say that I have a population which is nothing but Indian cricketers. The age of Indian cricketers is one population, right? I have another population which is age of Australian cricketers. Whenever I'm comparing two populations, instead of doing it on per data basis, that is, instead of comparing data 1 in or observation 1 in population 1 versus observation 2 in population 1, I reduce these population to single values, right? And then I compare these values, which is the commonly used value, average, right? So usually I'll answer the question. So to my question whether India cricket team is younger, Australia cricket team is younger, I'll say the answer to that, the way I'll frame it is, India is a younger cricket team than Australia because the average age of Indian cricket team is 25 years, whereas the average age of Australian cricket team is 30 years. Correct? So what I have done is I have reduced the whole population, which is the Indian cricket team, to a single value, which is average. Right? And this average is a measure of central tendency. So obviously, the value, when you reduce the whole population to a single value, the value should be a true representative of the population. That is, it should tell me the most likely value that I'll get. An average tells you the most likely value. That is, there may be some cricketers who are above 25, some cricketers who are less than 25, but on an average, 25 is the most likely age that will come for Indian cricketers as such. Alright? So that is meant by your central tendency. That is, it is a value that represents the whole population in terms of central tendency. That is, this is the value which is most likely to be the central value. Central means the most commonly occurring value. Got it? So what we are studying as measures of central tendency are, what are the ways I can reduce a single population, the whole population, into single value, and the value is a true representative of the population. That is, the value gives me the most likely observation that I am going to get. Alright? So as most of you have said, there are three ways. Okay? Let me go to a blank slide because it's much easier to explain these concepts on a blank slide. Gaurav has a question, sorry. Is it a kind of average? It is an average, right? So measure of central tendency is a measure that reduces the whole population to a single value. And obviously, if you're replacing a whole population with a value, the value should be a true representative of the population. So I'll choose a value which is most likely to occur in this observation. And therefore I saw this value is a measure of central tendency of this population. Alright? Barav? Now as you guys said, there are usually three measures of central tendency. One is your mean. Mean is also called an average. Okay. So Gaurav has a question, why we are not calling it just an average? Because as I'm going to explain now, average is one of the ways of calculating your central tendency. Okay. There are other two ways also. So average is nothing but your mean, right? Mean is one way of getting your central tendency. What is the central tendency? It is a value that is most likely to be a true representative of the population. So mean is one way you can get a true representation of the population. There are other ways which is called a median and a mode. Alright. So there are three measures at a high level which can be used to replace a whole population into a single value. This value is called a measure of central tendency, because the idea of getting this value is this is the value which is most likely to be observed in this observation. How do you get this value? There are three ways. One is to calculate a mean, other one is to calculate a median, the other third choice is to calculate a mode. So let's first try to understand what is meant by a mean. Okay, I think all of us are very familiar with mean. Mean is nothing but your average, right? So in terms of statistics, you may have a mean for a population, you may have a mean for a sample. Can somebody tell me what is the difference between a population and a sample? Yes? What is the difference between a population and a sample? Harsh's sample is a subpart of a population. Exactly. Debashish and Shraddha both says the sample is a representative of a population. Exactly, right? So I'll give an example, right? Let's say I'm dealing with age of all students writing CFA. So my population would be each and every member who's writing CFA. So for that I have to look at each and every student across the globe, each and every country, right? So instead of dealing with the whole population, so population is the total universe of the members. Usually it's practically impossible for me to reach each and every member of the population, right? So in this case, if I had to figure out what is the average age of students writing CFA level 1, I have to consider each and every member in every country possible who is writing CFA exam. That's not practically possible for me. So what I do, I'll take a sample, right? Sample, as we all said, is a subset of population. The idea of a sample is, sample should be a good representation of the population. So what I can do is, I'll say all students who are writing CFA level 1, for example, all you students who are there, all of you are writing CFA level 1. So my sample would be all these 15 students who are right now with me writing CFA level 1. Okay? So you are obviously a subset of the whole population. So that is the whole process of a sample. That is, sample is a subset of a population. The idea of a sample is to, because you can't work with the whole population, you work with a subset of the population. That is called sample. Now obviously, your mean could be defined for the whole population. If you can reach each and every member of the population, your mean becomes this formula. Sorry. On the other hand, if you're working with a sample, your mean is this formula. So there's no difference in mean calculation whether you're working with a population or a sample. Okay. In other words, whether you have a population or a sample, the way you calculate a mean is straightforward. You sum up each observation, simply divide by the number of observations. Okay. The notations here are important. Usually, as a standard notation, I denote mean for a population with the Greek letter mu. Okay. The mean for a sample is given by x bar. Okay, these are standard notation. So somebody tells me that x bar is 30, that means the sample mean is 30. Alright, you're supposed to know that from an exam perspective as well. Any questions so far? Alright. Okay, Now let's try to identify what is the median, what is the mode. A median is basically when you have your data, you order it. You order it either in an ascending order or a descending order. Let me take the same example. I'm trying to figure out what is the central value of ages of students writing CFA level 1 exam. Since I can't work with the whole population, I work with the sample. So I have 15 students who are with me today. I ask you, please tell me your individual ages. What I do is, let's say I get answer as 20, 30, 35, 31, 40. What I do is I arrange these observations in an ascending order. So obviously 20, then I'll have 30, then I have 31, then I have 35, then I have 40, like this, right? So this is arranging in an ascending order. Once I have arranged these observations in an ascending order, median is basically the observation which is at the centermost value, right? Let me take this example. I have only 5 observations, hypothetically. Let's say my sample is only 5 observations. I have ordered this sample in an ascending order. So what is my median? Median is the centermost value. In 5 observations, what is the centermost value? The third observation, right? Which is nothing but n plus 1 by 2 position. That is, if I have 5 observations, 5 plus 1 by 2, that is 3 is my centermost value, and that is called my median. Let's say I have 6 observations, that is 20, 30, 31, 35, 40 and 45. I have even number of observations, 6. 6 is even number of observations. If that is the case, what will be my median? My median will be average of n by 2 and n by 2 plus 1. That is average of 6 by 2 and 6 by 2 plus 1, which is 3 and 4 value. So 31 and 35, average of these two would be my median. Following, guys? Any question on how do we calculate mean? Any question how do you calculate median? All right. The third description is what is meant by a mode. Okay. Mode is simply defined as the value that occurs the maximum number of time in a distribution. Okay. So let me give you an example. Let's say my observation has 20, 30, 30, 31, 40. Okay. So these are the ages of individual students that I come across for CFA level 1. What is the mode? I look at the observation that is repeating maximum number of time. 20 only occurs 1, 30 occurs 2 times, 31 only occurs once, 40 occurs only once. Therefore, the observation that repeats maximum number of time is 30. Therefore, 30 becomes my mode. All right. Okay, Gaurav has a question. What will be the median for age group 18, 19, 20, 45, 50? Is it 20? So let's put this. You have an order list 18, 90, 20, 45 and 50. So Gaurav asks, what is the median? Okay. Okay. As I said, median is nothing but your centermost value. In this case, you have an ascending order. Median will be the centermost value. It will be 20. Okay. Now Gaurav's age is, will 20 be called as an average age? No. You're not calculating an average, you're calculating a median. Okay. 20 will be called the median age. Alright. Average age will be 18 plus 19 plus 20 plus 45 by 5. Got it? So average means mean. Median means totally different thing. Why we're studying this? Because at the end of the day, if I have to reduce this whole population into a single value, which is the most likely value, I should get that value which is the most likely observed value. Right? 20 is a very good representation of the whole population because I have values less than 20, I have also values more than 20. So 20 gives me a good idea about what kind of data I'm dealing with. That is median. Okay, Gaurav. So the point is 20 is not average. 20 is median age. Okay. Average will be given by 18 plus 90 plus 20 plus 45 by plus 50 by 5. Any other question, guys? All right. So now we know what is meant by a mean. We know what is meant by a median. We know what is meant by a mode. Now gets the difficult part. When is mean the right measure of central tendency? When is median an appropriate measure of central tendency? Similar with mode. In other words, when should I use mean as my measure of central tendency? When should I use median as my measure of central tendency? And when should I use mode as my measure of central tendency? Okay. The answer lies in identifying the observation. So if the observations are all similar to each other, then median is obviously the preferred choice of central tendency. So if you have 19, 18, 20, 21, 22, then mean age is the right choice because all values are close to each other, right? On the other hand, if you have what we call as an outlier, outlier is defined as an observation that is radically different from the rest of the observations. Okay. If you have an outlier, then your mean ceases to be a good measure of central tendency. Let me try to give you an example. Okay. Let's say your mean ages are 20, 30, and let's say your individual observations are 20, 30, and 40. What is the mean age? 20 plus 30 plus 40 by 3. That comes around what? 30. Correct? 50, 90. Yeah, 90 by 3 is 30. So mean, which is the mean, is nothing but your measure of central tendency. So mean age tells me the typical value that I'll come across in the observation, right? So if these are my observations, then mean is a good choice for my central tendency measure. Let's say instead of 40, the observation is 400. Okay, 400 is what I call as an outlier because now I have a value which is radically different from the rest of the values that I have. Okay, if that is the case, what happens to my mean? My mean now becomes what? 450 by 3, which is 150, right? 150 is not typical of the values that I get. You getting my point? So what we say statistically is that if you have an outlier in your observation, the mean gets pulled towards the outlier. Just because I have one observation, 400, which is so radically different from the rest of the observation 20 and 30, the mean that I calculate was not representing these values, rather it was close to the outlier. And that's a fundamental problem with mean. That is, if you have outliers in your observation, then mean gets pulled towards the outlier. Because you have one data of 400, mean was closer to 400 than it was closer to 20 or 30. So mean stopped to be a true representation of your central tendency. In such cases, it's more appropriate to use a median. For the same problem, if my observation are 20, 30, and 400, median will still be 30, which represents the rest of the observation or typical of the observation that I have. Just because I have one outlier, my median doesn't get affected by that. Alright guys, so the moral of the story is, whenever you have outliers, median is a better choice than mean in terms of central tendency. Any questions? Any question, guys? All right. Looks like all of you are able to follow. So that's a good thing. So successfully you have studied the first concept of CFA level 1 quants, which is your measures of central tendency. Syed has a question. Can we have no mode for a sample or population? Yes. For example, Syed, let's say your observations are 20, 30, 35, 40. What is the mode for this? Nothing, because each observation occurs same number of times. Therefore, for this population, we say there is a zero mode. That is, there is no mode or no mode, right? Interestingly, mode, you can get no mode, you can get one mode, you can get two modes, etc. If you get one mode, you say it's unimodal. Okay. If you have two modes, we say it's bimodal. For example, let's say you have observation is 20, 20, 30, 30, 35. Then there are two modes. 20 is one mode, 30 is also one mode, right? So we have a case of a two mode. So Syed, yes, we can have 0 mode, 1 mode, 2 mode, 3 mode, any number of modes. Okay. So Shraddha and Hamsta, both of them have a question. Where do we use mode? Mode is usually used for, so mode in general is not used in isolation. Mode is usually used along with either mean or median. So mode by itself doesn't tell you much of information because of the fact that you may have 2 mode, 3 mode, 0 mode, no mode, or even 10 modes are possible, right? Any mode, any number of modes are possible. Therefore, usually mode doesn't give you any information in isolation. Usually we use mode along with either mean or median. So if there are no outliers, you'll use mean plus mode. If there are outliers, you'll use median plus mode. So together median and mode can give you a good information about the population as such. Alright? Because mode has a limitation that you may have no mode, you may have 1 mode, 2 mode, 3 mode, any number of modes are possible. So mode by itself doesn't give you any information about the data at all. Gaurav has a question. Can you give a real life example for outlier? Gaurav, I think I already gave that example when I was talking about average age, right? So that's what I said, right? Somebody asked about average salary if I finish CFA level 1. What did I say? I said, I said that average is a poor measure whenever you have outliers. And that's what I was explaining, right? For example, let's say you have 3 students who pass CFA. One student makes 10 lakh, the other student makes 15 lakh, the third student makes 90 lakhs. Now 90 lakh is an outlier because one observation is so radically different from the rest of the observation. And if you remember what I said, in such cases your average doesn't make sense at all because the average will be what? 90 plus 15 plus 10, which is 115 by 3. 115 by 3 will be what? Close to 38, correct? So average, when you have an outlier, doesn't make sense at all, right? If you have 38, that is, doesn't mean that you'll make 90, doesn't make you make 15, doesn't make you make 10, doesn't guarantee anything, right? So that's an example of outlier. And because you have an outlier, your average, which is nothing but your mean, is not a true measure. Got it? All right. Shraddha asked, what is an example for a mode? So usually you will use, as I said, let's say, see, I'll give you an example of mode, right? So when I was studying in engineering, there were a few companies which used to take people in bulk. Okay, no offense meant to any company, but there is a company called TCS, there is a company called Wipro, which usually take 40 students, 50 students in bulk, and they offer, obviously, they all are hired for starting position. They all were offered the same salary, right? So now, let's say I'm talking about the salary that I get after I finished BTech from IIT, let's say. Okay, let's say there were 30 students, and let's say one company hired 25 of them. Okay, and it gave 12 lakh package. 26th, 27th, 28th, 29th, and 30th got different values. This guy got 15 lakhs. This guy got 20 lakhs. This guy got 11 lakh. This guy got I don't know, 25 lakhs. This guy got 26 lakhs, right? In such cases, which is a true representation, or in such cases, since there are one observation which repeats maximum number of time, that is 25 number of time, obviously 12 lakh becomes your mode for the whole distribution. That is, I would say 12 lakh is the modal salary for BTech placements in IIT this year. Make sense? Right? All right. Any other question, guys? So congratulations, you have studied the first concept of CFA, which is measures of central tendency. There are 3 of them: mean, median, and mode. And you also know, how to calculate them, how to calculate a mean, how to calculate a median, how to calculate a mode. And you also now know when to use a mean, when to use a median, and where is mode an appropriate choice. All right, I think with this I'll end the demo for today. It was nice interacting with all of you. Fatima says, can you please explain the concept of skewness and kurtosis? Fatima, I don't want to get into the details of skewness and kurtosis as of now, because for you to understand skewness and kurtosis, you need to understand the other topics. That is, you need to understand measures of central tendency, measures of dispersion, etc., etc. Right? So my idea was not to take a complete class on quants. I just wanted to give you some idea. More importantly, it was some idea about CFA and some idea about the teaching methodology, how you can make, how we can, or how do we take classes over online media. Okay, so if I'm taking quants lecture 1 for you, I'll make sure that I'll explain kurtosis and skewness in detail. All right. So please, let's not try to more than me. I think it will be difficult for others to follow it. Right. I can definitely give you an explanation of skewness and kurtosis, but I don't know how effective that would be without understanding the rest of the distributions or rest of the properties of the distribution. Right. So we'll take it for an actual class lecture. Gaurav says, can I get email address of all people who have joined today? I'm not sure. I think you can ask Dikshu. She will give you all details, details of all students, all your colleagues who have joined lecture today. All right. So as I promised, I leave my email ID. My email ID is karthikpa_99@yahoo.com. All right. So I request that you please don't email me. Right? In general, what I meant by that is, if you have any questions, see, usually I also have a day job, so I usually have, I also work Monday to Friday in my actual organization. I work for a hedge fund. I only get Saturday, Sunday to answer pristine related queries. So what I suggest is, please don't email me individually every day. To be very honest, I also take time to respond to these queries. What I suggest is, for most of your queries, please check with Pristine, because there is a forum in Pristine. I hope all of you understand or you are aware of this. There is a forum in Pristine which is meant for answering students' queries. So you can. So what I suggest is, first, if you have any question, be it be related to topics of discussion or otherwise, please post a question to the forum first. It's guaranteed that some Pristine lecturer, it may be me or somebody else, will answer you in due time. So your preferred medium of communication should be forum. I'm not supposed to disclose my personal ID, but I'll leave it to you with a request that please don't mail me with or use your discretion when you're mailing me. I may not have time to respond to each and every query. So please, make sure that you are asking me only for questions which are probably you didn't get a proper response on forum or something like that, right? So with that note, I'll end the demo. My full name is Karthik PA. So Deepak has asked for this. Alright, that's my full name. And that's why my email ID says karthikpa_99@yahoo.com. Alright guys, thank you very much. It was nice interacting with you. I wish you all the best in your respective careers, and hopefully we'll interact more. in due course of time. All right. Thank you. Bye.
The organizer has ended the session, and this call will be disconnected. Goodbye.